When we talk about a recession, we're usually talking about the state of the American economy in total in some kind of broader sense. And we are not there yet. I mean, today we do not appear to be in a recession. There are concerning signs that we've talked about, but it would not be accurate or at least defensible broadly to say that the country is in a recession right now. But there are parts of the country that are in a recession. And at this point, that is really impossible to deny. And the recession that exists already in parts of the country are very highly connected to Donald Trump's trade war with China. They're also connected to things like automation and some other things that are bigger than Trump. But Donald Trump's trade policy is certainly precipitating this. So let's first start with what is the definition of a recession? A recession is a period of temporary economic decline during which trade and industrial activity are reduced, generally identified by a fall in GDP in two successive quarters. You need only look at places like Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and a number of other states, specifically in the industries of agriculture and manufacturing, to realize that we have a regionalized agricultural and manufacturing recession right now. It's happening right now. This is not maybe at some point in the future, okay? You have farms and farmers themselves experiencing drastically reduced trade and industrial activity, to borrow the terminology from the definition of recession, because of a fall in their production as a result of the trade war. You then have the sequential effects of related drops in industrial activity at companies that make farm equipment, companies like Kuhn and John Deere. Kuhn recently furloughed hundreds of employees for 2 weeks because they have slowed down production as a result of farmers being hit by the trade war. The trade war, by shrinking farm trade, is shrinking the economic activity of companies like Kuhn and others, so they are forced to cut production. And when you zoom out a little bit and you look at the index of manufacturing activity, you see a contraction last month for the first time in 3 years. When you look at manufacturing jobs, the number of new manufacturing jobs has dropped from 170,000 added at this time last year to just 44,000, barely enough to keep up with population growth. This is stagnation. In 22 states, the number of people working in factories has fallen in the first 7 months of 2019, according to the Economic Innovation Group. So are we in a recession right now as a country? We cannot say that at this point in time. At some point soon, we may be able to say it. Is agriculture and manufacturing in a recession in a lot of the country? Yes, it is. It is a regionalized recession that's happening right now. And you can actually go further. There are places where the 2008 recession never really ended, the economically ravaged places in the Midwest and elsewhere, that simply never fully recovered and are now already getting hit again. Now, in fairness, one of the things that I try to be consistent about is whether it's a Democrat or a Republican in the White House, I assign blame only to the extent that it is warranted. And when there are things that are bigger than who's in the Oval Office, I tell you, part of what's going on is bigger than Trump. It's bigger than Trump's policy. There is something called creative destruction. This is a mechanism in the business cycle. This was the term creative destruction, I believe, comes from Marx, but it meant something else. Joseph Schumpeter, an Austrian economist, no left-winger by any means, sort of took the term and described it as an inherent feature of capitalist economies, which is the constant revolutionizing of the structure of the economy by changing the dynamics of it. And there is some degree of that. The United States is experiencing that. There's a move away from manufacturing in general. There's a move towards tech and information and other sectors. Parts of what we're seeing right now in manufacturing could be certainly influenced by creative destruction, by automation. That is not Donald Trump's unique fault either. But the bottom falling out this quickly, specifically because of Trump policy, at a faster rate than it would otherwise, and nothing is being done big picture other than throwing some subsidies at some farmers, that is Trump. Trump's trade war, according to an estimate from Moody's, has killed 300,000 jobs in total. So this is not good. This is, of course, potentially the early indicator of things to come, not in a recession right now broadly, but we don't have to hypothesize about the future because we have a regionalized manufacturing and agricultural recession happening right now. Go and look at the really good interviews with farmers and manufacturing companies, farm equipment manufacturing companies that media outlets like NPR have done. It's really good work. It's happening right now. And to pretend it isn't is a disservice to so many workers that are already being affected by what's taking place. We will be talking more about this on our Instagram page at David Pakman Show, which I encourage you to follow. You can also follow me while you are there at david.pakman. We will take a very quick break and be back with a lot more right after this.